Baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. And the Royals' perfect season has come to an end, but a win today and they can win their third straight series to begin 2015. And we welcome you back to the ballpark with Rick Sudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery are coming up. If you're a numbers person, this is a great game for the Royals. Last year, Jason Vargas was excellent on the road, and he was superb against the Minnesota Twins.
I'm not a numbers person, and I don't know if Ned is, but I can tell you one thing. Him and I both have a huge smile on our face, and it hurts. We've been smiling so much, especially with the veteran Vargas on the hill looking to take this series here in this getaway day. He should be good along with that defense.
And speaking of Vargas on the road, Kia puts us in the driver's seat, and that's where Vargas was in his first start on the road in Anaheim, where he pitches very well, allowing just 2 runs in 6 innings.
He's cool, calm, and collected. He has a great tempo and a great pace to the game. He loves to pitch, and especially to that defense. And why wouldn't you? That defense is the best on the planet, especially pitching to Salvador Perez. He just keeps the ball down, hits it over there to Escobar. They roll up a double play, and that is it. Ham and eggs, roll them on a day game. Going to be fun to watch.
And the Royals' defense was flashy last night, even in the loss. The Royals have had some trouble with Twin starter Tommy Milone, and Joel and Monty will discuss that when we return.
Look at the home Twins debut last season of Tommy Milone after being traded over from Oakland. It did not go well. The Royals absolutely spoiled it for him. The weather was not good either, and he was just lit up. 1 1/3 innings, 4 hits, and 7 runs, and that may be changing some of the numbers a little bit. Look at this. We are joined right now. Oh, he just missed it. The timing of Salvador Perez there. He just jumped in and photobombed about 2 seconds too early.
Well, he could have told us all about Tommy Milone and the Royals' success against him last August, but I think the big thing for him last year, he had made 4 starts against the Royals, and all 4 of those were good until last August. Very wet, very rainy. I can tell you, Joel, as an undersized pitcher, you need your footing on the mound. He didn't have it that day. The Royals found a way to get to him, 6 earned runs.
And then they got him for 3 more earned runs the next start, a couple later in Kansas City. So that 1.84 ERA in the first 4 starts is 12.15 in the last 2, hopefully giving the Royals some confidence.
Right. I think they have a book on him now. They understand what they have to do. He's going to pitch a lot like Jason Vargas. He's going to mix things up. He's going to really kind of keep the ball away against the right-handers. So just kind of be patient and make him throw strikes to you.
These guys are very loose in the dugout right now, always fired up before the game. Could hear one of the players yelling, "Happy flight." They want a nice, happy flight home. They are ready to go. Ryan and Rex are back with the first pitch coming up next.
High-speed internet. The U-verse revolves around you. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. By your Kansas City Chevy dealers. Visit your Kansas City Chevy dealer today for great prices on all the new 2015 vehicles. And by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. It has been gorgeous in Minneapolis. And this is one of those series when the schedule comes out, you go, ugh. Minneapolis in the middle of April, but it has been much more like May or June. Temperatures in the upper 60s, low 70s. It was windy last night, so it cooled down when the sun went down, but sunny and very little breeze today. Here's the Royals State Farm lineup tonight, and some changes with Paulo Orlando in left field. Alex Gordon still getting the day games off after the night games. Christian Colon plays for the first time this year. Gerard Dyson is still in right field, as the Royals will try and figure out the lefty Tommy Milone. But Joel and Monty were just talking about how, you know, the last 2 starts that the Royals faced Milone last year, they played very well against him. So maybe no more thoughts about, boy, this guy kills us, like they had in the past.
No, that's out of their mind. Just like Joel said, somebody said in the dugout, he heard happy flight. That's right. That means a win, and that's all they want to do. Malone's not overpowering, so he's a guy you're going to have to look for location out over the plate. Fastballs anywhere from 86 to 88. He's not overpowering. Cutter, he'll cut the fastball. Big curveball and a changeup. Changeup's his pitch a lot like Vargas.
Minnesota's made some changes as well. Eduardo Escobar is in left, Shane Robinson in center, and Kenny Vargas will get the start at first base today.
Molinar's he's trying to find the right combination of the guys. Giving Mauer an off day, that'll be just fine. Except he is the DH, so he doesn't have to try to feel that ball.
On the topic of left-hand pitchers, Danny Duffy has asked us to wish his father Dan a happy birthday back in Lompoc, California. And if you've been following the Royals over the past few years, you know Dan Duffy. Now, Danny asked us to say happy 59th birthday, Dan. So
wasn't us.
So he specifically wanted us to point out that is your 59th birthday. So happy birthday to you, and we hope you're enjoying the game with us today. Alcides Escobar walks to the plate with his 8-game hitting streak. And if you go back to last year and include the postseason, Alcides Escobar, he has really thrived as the Royals leadoff man. He's hit safely in 30 of the last 32 Royals games.
Yep, all along Escobar believed he was the leadoff guy. It wasn't until Ned actually made the move late in the season last year that he said, all right, it's my turn and I'm not giving it up.
One and one against Tommy Milone.
Facing Malone's not easy because he's a veteran guy. He has pretty good command of his secondary pitches, but he adds and subtracts from the speed. Makes it even more difficult.
And when he's on, the left side of the infield is very busy, and Plouffe throws out Escobar to begin the game. 63 degrees with very low humidity. South to southwest here means blowing in, but a very light breeze. The wind probably won't be a factor today, but the mostly sunny part of the forecast will. Could be a tough day with high fly balls to the outfield. Mike Moustakas has 4 hits in the first 2 games of the series.
Doesn't matter who they face, they're trying to get him out in. They're pitching him in, pounding him in. Anything that's left out over, Moose has been flipping it to left field.
Two and one.
Moose looking for his first hit off of Malone. He's 0 for 9.
And not much of a shift.
How about that? To start the game, nobody on. That's respect. Oh.
So there was somewhat of a shift, playing Moustakas to pull, and he squirts it through the left side. And now he has 5 hits in this series.
Just routine procedure now for Moose. Really? I mean, that's really questionable there. I mean, now he waits for the first pitch that he can see that's out over the plate. He waits. That's a perfect swing. That wasn't a forced swing to left field. That was natural.
Hit hard and pulled foul by Lorenzo Cain. Cain, like Escobar, has started the year hitting safely in each of the first 8 Royals games. That gets him to 387.
Base runners will have to be a little bit careful over there because he does have a nice pickoff move to first. And like Moustakas, teams have been throwing pitches inside to Cain, and he knows it. Sometimes a hitter against a lefty will open up that left foot, just open up his hips just a little, so it'll help him get to that pitch that's 2 inches in off the plate. You can see he's doing that. See how his left foot's slightly open? Hips are just a little bit open. You're looking for some cutters in there. You either make up your mind when you're facing a lefty. You're either going to take swings at his cutters, or you're going to spit on him and wait for the changeup.
Laid off the changeup.
And sometimes, if you're a right-handed hitter facing a guy with good cutters, you'll look for the third baseman's playing. If he's in on the grass and he's in at third base, you'll swing at those cutters. Even if he breaks your bat, you loop it over his head.
Kane deep into the left field corner and gone. A 2-run home run.
Well, I guess that answers that question.
He didn't quite loop it over the third baseman's head.
No, but he is looking for the cutter in. 3-1. You can't sneak a piece of cheese by Lorenzo Kane. Continues his streak. 2-run bomb. There it was. It just said hit me. Look at that nice little load with his front foot. Brings it up. Pilot to Bombardier.
Now strike to Eric Hosmer. So Kane has now hit safely in each of the first 9 games. Kane now leads the Royals with 10 RBIs. Tommy Milone, he will give up home runs. It's been his Achilles heel in his major league career. Great catch by the fan. Wow. Brought his glove.
Good positioning.
There you go.
Great play by the glove.
These are most home runs allowed among active pitchers who have thrown 500 innings or fewer. And there's only a couple in the game who have allowed more than Tommy Milone. That's it. Probably oftentimes it's the changeup. You know, he throws so many changeups that every now and then one's just going to hang out over the plate. Santana throws out Hosmer, 2 down in the first inning. Now Kendrys Morales with 2 down, nobody on, our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. And the Royals scoring just 1 run, suffering their first loss last night. Still leading the league in the 3 major percentage categories: batting average, on base percentage, and slugging percentage. And adding to that with Kane's home run in the first inning.
Pleasantly surprised is Ned Yost with the power that he said he had in the lineup last season. It just didn't show up. Oh, that's so nice. After that first swing Morales took, I went, wow. If he doesn't shorten up that swing, Malone's going to eat him alive. That's exactly what he does here. Like a changeup down low, he shortened his stroke and he just wanted to put it in play. That's a smart.
That's not a bad pitch, too.
No.
Pitch is down.
That's a really good pitch for Milone. That's right where he wanted. You can see Morales had a little bit of a sting in that right hand, but he stayed with it nicely.
Sal's after the first pitch. He's had a good road trip through Anaheim and Minnesota. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. And now second to Lorenzo Kane for the team lead in RBIs after Kane's home run in this inning.
Now they're trying to pound him in as well. As Salvi is a little bit different here than the other guys. He can take that ball 3-4 inches off the outside part of the plate and drill it to right field. They're going to pitch him in, but you can see Salvi. He's opened up with his front side. He's looking in there. Same way Lorenzo Cain was.
1-2.
Hard in, cutters in, change ups away.
And Perez into left center field. Robinson cuts it off. Royals have 4 hits against Tommy Milone in the first inning. I can think of stretches when the Royals didn't have 4 hits in 2 games against Tommy Milone.
No, I knew the Royals would be tough, and Malone's got to be exactly perfect. That's out over the plate. Going to get spanked with 2 strikes. And the Royals, they just were obviously embarrassed that they lost last night. Didn't set well with them, so they said, why not wait till tomorrow? And tomorrow's here. And do you think it's possible that this guy stepping into the batter's box could somehow find a way to hit a gap here?
Well, if he hits a gap here, I like his chances to extend his triple streak. And if you're wondering what we're talking about, Paulo Orlando has 3 hits as a big leaguer, all triples. That's a major league record.
If he somehow does it here again, he'll put that record in orbit. It'll never be touched.
You mean like somewhere near the moon?
Well, it is in our solar system, but it's further than that. There's no other young kid going to get 2 of his first hits, let alone 3, but a 4th one? Plus, there's a couple of stakes out there he'd drive in. That would be really special. You mentioned the gaps, 377 left center, 403 right center. Making Milone bring that ball up. He looks comfortable. All right, you want to see him? I know it. I want to see him again. First at bat at the K. Look at him. He's on his horse. 11 seconds. All right, just so that wasn't a fluke, he went to the opposite field over the Trout. 11 seconds again. Now this one here was like, what? If it bounces over the third baseman, he's got a chance. This one here, 10 seconds. Oh, man. There's a running Royal right there, folks. Is hungry to be in the big leagues after 9 years in the minors.
Now ahead in the count, 3 balls, 1 strike. 29-year-old rookie out of Brazil, and question as to whether he would make the Royals out of spring training, and now he's played a big role with Alex Gordon sitting out day games after night games as that surgically repaired right wrist continues to heal. Center field.
Darn it.
Now if it had sailed over Robinson's head, man, we were in business, weren't we?
Oh, he still hit it hard. Good try.
After 9 singles last night, 3 batters into the game today, Lorenzo Cain hits a 2-run home run to give the Royals the early lead.
I told you.
last night, beating the Royals 3-1 with a much more crisp game against the Royals. Still trying to find the right combination on offense, as Minnesota has scored just 19 runs in their first 8 games. And last night, the switch began on offense with Hunter moving to number 2 and Brian Dozier batting cleanup. We'll try and figure out Jason Vargas. Vargas was very good on Friday against the Angels and very good last year against the Twins.
Yep, his last outing against the Halos, 7 ground ball outs. He has a nice tempo. He keeps the infielders on their toes.
Good pitch to tie up Santana. That's out of play.
He'll use a fastball, curveball, changeup. 3-pitch mix. Not overpowering. He'll go 86 to 90. Deceptive. Has a nice little hip turn. He hides the ball well. Hitters have a hard time picking it up. Changeup's his best pitch against righties.
Two and two. Here's the changeup, where the Twins have had a tough time with Royals changeups in this series. Duffy, Volquez last night, and now Vargas begins his outing with a strikeout. He doesn't need the defense with that first matchup. Royals defense presented by Ford. Just 2 errors all year defensively.
Nice to see Christian Colon getting out there for his start. Just make the plays. That's all you got to do. You get a hit, it's a bonus. Sketch everything at you. Help Vargas. You don't have to tell the defense that. They do that naturally. They love to make the plays.
Down around the end of the bat. Orlando is there. 2 down. Speaking of Royals defense, our Toyota League leaders for today. The Indians, they had the most errors in the major leagues last year, so off to a good start defensively. Royals and Indians with the fewest errors in the American League.
No, I don't think too many are surprised about the Royals, but the Indians, they knew that was going to be a point to be made on their team. If they were going to have any success, they were going to have to catch the ball. And I talked with Brad Mills, their infield instructor for the Indians in the offseason. He said, Hud, we're getting everybody in camp 2 weeks early.
Hit hard to right field, but Dyson is right there. So a very quick inning for Vargas. 3 up, 3 down. Right after the Royals got him 2 in the top of the first inning. to Kauffman Stadium, and now with Target Field, and with the Royals' success the last 2 years, a lot more Royals fans making the trip up north. Royals head home after the game today and begin a 6-game homestand tomorrow night against Oakland and then Minnesota. Christian Colon, he made his big league debut here last year. Gets in his first game this season.
I'm glad you mentioned the fact that the last 2 years the Royals have had good seasons. A lot of people forget about 2013 when they were 10 games over 500. That was a big building year for the Royals. That's when they knew, look, we can do it.
Especially that year coming back from 12 games under 500 to finish 10 games above 500. It wasn't just a finishing 10 games above. I mean, they had to dig themselves out of a hole. There were a couple times last year the season, to some, appeared to be lost. And then there they are in the playoffs and in Game 7 of the World Series.
It's hard to succeed without failure. The Royals have had their share now. Rhino, you've been here a long time, and they've been the stepping mat in the league for many years. Now it's their turn, and I think fans can feel that from their team here. Every game they have an extreme focus, largely because of the last 2 months of last season. Every game meant something then. Nice walk.
Dyson bunts over to Plouffe. His play is to first. So Colon at second base with one down. Oh gosh.
Well, look at that young aspiring broadcaster as he is on that beautiful wall that's out here in the foyer of broadcasters in Twins history. Look at that full head of hair too. Love that.
Nice tan.
I thought the light in the room they took the picture, that was a professional photo. Right there. No wonder Sarah saw what she saw.
Yeah. What, those bags under my eyes?
Not then.
It's not often when you're alive to see your own corpse.
Come on, man. Look, I told you that was the light. If we showed a shot of you right now, it's a totally different story.
I clearly did not get the job based on that photo. Long run, Vargas. And he comes up a little short.
Well, that first swing that Escobar took 2 pitches ago, he wasn't trying to lob that into the low cane triangle. He's looking to tear a row out that second deck. That's how hot he is. Now with 2 strikes on him here, he'll probably try to hit it where it's pitched. Tough guy to strike out because he's a good bat ball hitter. Anything close he'll be hacking at. Try to find a hole.
He's done it all to begin the season. His job, of course, is to get on base and score, but when the Royals have needed him to drive in a run, he's come through. He's driven in 5 on this road trip. Nice save by Suzuki. Then you remember that Escobar didn't have much of a spring training, if you think that carries any weight. The Royals didn't, but he had 180 in the Cactus League games.
Santana to the grass. 2 down with Colon at second base. Speaking of tomorrow, the Oakland A's and Billy Butler will be in town, and there is no better place to spend your Friday nights than at Kauffman Stadium. You can stock up on dollar hot dogs and peanuts for Buck Night, presented by Visit KC. So tomorrow night at 7:10, game 1 of 3 with the Oakland A's. For tickets, go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. The A's Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, and then Minnesota in town Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights.
Eduardo Escobar, the left fielder from Molitor today for the Twins. I just saw him take 5 steps towards the left field line on Moose. He moved that way. Everybody is starting to move this way for Moose. Oh, so much nicer when you can hit with sunglasses out there. Today where the sun's bright, it's glary. You don't have to squint, which uses energy.
Trying to stay inside after seeing Moustakas go the other way with his base hit in the first inning.
So Moose is really, he's setting them up. He's setting the whole league up right now. He's getting them to believe that he's going to, turn into a little punch and Judy hitter, and then he's going to start looking inside and start turning and burning. Long season. Perfect tempo he's got going now.
Dozier to the middle. And out to end the inning. So the Royals get a leadoff walk. They get Colon to second base, but Malone gets Dyson, Escobar, and Moustakas to keep it 2-0 KC. Home run. Jason Vargas got Minnesota 1-2-3 in the first. Brian Dozier, Kenny Vargas, Trevor Plouffe. Dozier has 2 hits in the first 2 games of the series, both hits doubles. He has driven in a run. And anything above the belt, he has been right on. Pitch this guy down. Gotten around on some pitches that were letter high in the first 2 games. Just missed inside.
Oh, you know, and Salvi couldn't present that much nicer.
Minnesota has its first base runner. Dozier is on to begin the bottom of the second inning.
Off-speed pitch in the outer half of the plate. Dozier, he's a pull hitter. Moose almost got it.
Good pitch at the knees to Kenny Vargas, playing at first base today after DHing the first two.
That's right where Vargas wants to keep the ball. He wants a little rollover ground ball to Escobar, a little two-hopper. Sets up the next pitch. Really, that's going to be the changeup coming probably. Dozier can run.
The facing of the second deck on a line. Kenny Vargas gets his first home run of the year, and the game is tied at 2.
Going to be a tale of the homers today, no doubt. Royals up 2-0 on a 2-run homer by Lorenzo Cain, and now Kenny Vargas says, you know what? I like any mistake that's out over the plate that's not overpowering, and I can do the same thing. Big time power this guy's got. Both sides of the plate. He'll be a difference maker for them.
Strike to Trevor Plouffe.
Any kind of mistake out over the middle, hitters love. Look at that. Nice little lift. Oof. Twins have gotten off to a slow start, but what we witnessed last year with Santana, his on-base ability, and this kid Kenny Vargas, those are two guys that can make a difference.
Trevor Plouffe homered in Game 1 against the Royals. It's been a good matchup for Vargas over the years. Plouffe just 4 out of 25. One of those hits is a home run. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, Trevor Plouffe had 24 home runs. Tight zone today for both pitchers. Whatever.
It's getaway day. He swung at that one 3 inches further away.
Dana DeMuth in his 32nd year as the crew chief, calling the balls and strikes. Veteran crew Joe West in his 38th season. Got Plouffe reaching. One away. So the Oakland A's in town for a 3-game series tomorrow. Our University of Kansas Hospital injury report, and you know the A's are going to be motivated after losing the wild card game. Coco Crisp had right elbow surgery in camp. He's out. Sean Doolittle, their closer, has not opted for surgery yet, but he has a torn left rotator cuff. So 2 players the Royals won't have to worry about. Eduardo Escobar to Paulo Orlando in left center field, 2 down.
Well, you'd have thought that the Angels would be motivated. Royals went through them like a knife through hot butter. Billy Butler, you hope he wants to do so much and try too hard that he goes over. because that happens sometimes, especially for a guy like Billy who spent his entire career with one team, and you know he wants to do something in the worst way with a bat in his hand. Sometimes you get a little anxious.
Kurt Suzuki off to a slow start, and he's a Twins hitter who's had a bad time in the past against Vargas. 1 ball, 1 strike. Like Dozier, a very good high ball hitter, Kurt Suzuki. And a base hit into left field, similar to the hit that Dozier got in between third and short. And Suzuki's on with 2 down.
Both lefties today have to be really careful with their command and the location of where they're putting their pitches, because they're not overpowering. They can't make mistakes and blow it by you like a lot of pitchers have the luxury of doing. So this could be a high-scoring game. Vargas needs to come in more and then stay away with the change, but that inside pitch is important for Vargas, not for a strike, but the one to knock him off the plate. Dave Islands told me all last year, look, his key is to not let those right-handers get too comfortable. Bust them in.
One and 1 to Shane Robinson. Right-hand side of the Twins platoon in center field opposite Jordan Schaefer. That changeup, which Vargas throws as often as just about any pitcher in the major leagues. So you know it's a dominant pitch when opposing lineup, they know it's coming and still have a tough time picking it up. Escobar will flip to Colon, and that's the inning. The Royals get a 2-run home run in the first inning. Minnesota gets a 2-run home run in the second inning. Look forward to Miller time later this afternoon. Miller time so far has been Lorenzo Cain and Kenny Vargas. They have both hit 2-run home runs. Cain in the first inning against Tommy Milone, and Vargas in the second inning against Vargas.
See how Malone tries to pitch Kane here now. After a guy's taking you deep, early 2-run bomb, you're going to be a little bit careful going in there because that's his hot spot. So sure enough, Suzuki's setting up away. They're going to stay out of there if they can.
Another option would be to pitch him in again, but pitch him in a little more, right? Thinking that the hitter's eyes are going to get really big, and
but don't miss.
Get him to move his feet. 2-1 to Kane, who leads the Royals with 10 RBIs, and he's opened the season with a 9-game hitting streak.
Those pitchers, they're not perfect. They miss.
Going back to pitching away, 3-1. Eric Hosmer next, followed by Kendrys Morales. Three and 2. Lorenzo being stubborn, waiting for his pitch. Malone staying right around the outer edges of the strike zone. And the stubbornness pays off as Lorenzo goes the other way, and Royals have the leadoff man on.
It's a hot hitter right there. 3 and 2. Lots of guys try to juice it. They want to pop one. They want to drive one. Lorenzo said, you know, he's just going to come back with that same little pitch on the outside part of the plate, and I'm just going to go to the low Kane triangle.
And especially a guy who hit a home run in his last at bat. Many other hitters that say, I'm going to take this guy deep again. And
right. Overswing, miss it, or you pop it up. Lorenzo had table setting on his mind. Set it up. Haas overswung in that first at bat. Easy does it.
Rounded out to short in the first inning. Inside for ball one. And against Malone, it's a good idea to think the other way. The numbers will tell you that less than half of his pitches are fastballs. That is very rare. Now, some might say, well, fastball, cut fastball, same thing.
Certain type of pitchers, you look hard, and other guys, you look soft. And they may throw you that fastball down the middle because you were looking for something else. Look, it's all right. You block that fastball out of your mind, and you look soft. You look for their off-speed stuff.
Got the call. 1 and 2 to Hosmer. Delayed steal by Kane. Boy, the Royals, and this goes back to spring training, and a stolen base for Kane, and you'd like to give Rusty Kuntz a stolen base too, but the Royals, that's the 3rd or 4th time this year they've already executed a delayed steal.
3 shuffle steps and go. Works every time, especially for a base stealer. And our Molitor and the rest of the managers in the league now are shaking their head going, really? Gosh, you guys, you know what? You have straight steal ability. Now you're delaying. That just gives my catcher and pitcher more things to think about, and the infielders.
Kane will go back to second base. Santana in the dirt. Vargas, not known for his glove, makes a nice pick. 1 down.
Let's watch the shuffle. 1, 2, 3 and go, and by then the catcher's already taken his eye off the base runner. Because if you leave automatically on the pitch, the catcher sees that. But if you just give a little shuffle step, that first 2, 3, then it's all off. And really, what's disarming is the middle infielders. It disarms them because they're looking at the first jump too.
They're waiting to hear going right away.
Right.
And you don't hear it from the dugout.
No, because if you're a middle infielder, whoever's covering, you got to peek and see if he's running. And if you don't see him running, then your focus is back to the plate. You got to pick up the ball. So next thing you know, the runner's coming, and you're late getting to the base. And that's what I'm saying. It causes more distractions for the defense. Now before the game, the team meetings are saying, not only will they straight steal, but they'll delay steal also. So now you have to look an extra look to see if they're going to delay. And sometimes that's the difference between sneaking that ground ball by you. Little things turn into big things. He missed it.
Just got it inside enough. Kane will run back to second base. Escobar is an infielder playing the outfield. So a good scouting report there. As Kane moves up 90 feet, 2 down.
But Morales just missed that baby.
The catcher, number 13, Salvador Perez.
And you mentioned it. In the scouting report, the players all know who's in position and who's out of position. You know, left field's going to be a mystery for the Minnesota Twins this year, so that's good. Get to third base, even with 2 strikes. He bounces one either way, left or right, has a chance to score.
And for the record, Tommy Milone, who has pitched in over 500 innings now, has 3 wild pitches. The ball almost hit Kane and just fouled at the third base side. 3 wild pitches in over 500 innings. So Milone not likely to help the Royals out. Hit Kane in from third.
Stay in foul territory. That way, if you're struck by the ball, called out. The hitter's not called out. Oh.
Up the right field side, and Torrey Hunter will not be able to run it down. And now it gets by Hunter. And the Royals again come through with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. Salvador Perez drives in Lorenzo Cain, and in doing so ties Cain for the team lead with 10 RBIs.
Last time Salvi was up, we talked about the fact that he's a great bad ball hitter. Okay, now look at that. There's a good sample size. That's why they're coming inside on Salvi. You go away, even if you go away for effect for 3 or 4 inches off the plate, he still can do that to you. He could touch you up, hurt you.
But how about this for clutch? Salvador Perez with 2 outs and runners in scoring position is 5 out of 7
this season. You better just put him on.
Paulo Orlando lined to center first time up.
On a good short line drive stroke. That swing there, it looked like he was trying to do a little bit more, but look, all he wants to do is just trying to get Salvi home. Don't have to hit a triple.
2-1. You know, Sal has already done something early this season that we didn't see as much of last year. RBI situations, 2 strikes, shortening up, going to right field and right center. That was a trademark of his first 2 years in the big leagues. Got away from that last year. Batting average suffered as a result. Safe at first. Vargas came off the bag. Vargas either thinks he had his foot on the bag or he tagged Orlando because he pointed to his dugout, wanting them to take a second look on replay.
On contact, I knew Plouffe was in trouble because of the speed of Paulo. Got to make an accurate throw to get there, and he was way off and didn't look like he tagged him in time.
If he did, it looks like Orlando was on the bag.
I didn't see if he did touch his back leg here on the swipe, which he might have. It was too late. He was in there. So Look at Joe West with his arms crossed sitting out there at first base. He's saying, I dare you. Try to challenge it.
Second baseman, number 24.
And Paul Molitor will not. So it's an infield single for Orlando, and the streak is over. He has a hit now in the big leagues that is not a triple.
I got a feeling his streak is pretty safe.
First player in history, as far as we know, the statistics going back to 1914, to have his first 3 big league hits result in triples. Escobar will bring it down to end the inning. Lorenzo Cain has hit a 2-run home run, and in this inning, as Hud put it, he was the table setter. Leadoff hit, stolen base to third on a sac fly, and home on Salvador Perez, 10th RBI.
A man that will be coming to Kauffman Stadium tomorrow and getting a championship ring. Billy Butler still wearing number 16. He's hitting over 350 on the year. Maybe even looking a little faster in those white shoes. I don't know about that, but that's vintage power right there. Billy Butler will come into Kansas City with a 10-game hitting streak. We see Lorenzo Cain just had the stolen base, guys, and talk about speed.
Might have been an easier play for Moustakas there.
Well, maybe a little bit of taste of their own medicine as the Twins laying down a bunt and flashing a little bit of the speed. But, guys, we saw that stolen base. Rich, you talked about it last inning, and Rusty Kuhn's telling me, because they haven't had a whole lot in the last week, the Royals, that there's such an emphasis right now on stopping the running game. Not just the Royals' running game, but just the speed that we're seeing and the game turning back to a speed game. And he said guys all have slide steps. They're all quick to the plate. And that last night, usually a guy 1-2 to 1-4 is going to be pretty quick to the plate. Last night, Kyle Gibson was under 1 with his speed to the plate. Teams are trying to stop this running game as best as they can.
So you add in the extra skill, and that's the delay steal. That really messes him up. We talked about that. Anyway, Vargas is a little happy. He wanted to make the play. He's a good athlete, but that's when Moose has to call him off.
Dyson, that's a fair ball and kicks back into the seats.
Dyson looked like he had a hard read on contact, wasn't sure how hard it was hit, and it was really just a doinker that was fading away. There's nothing he could do on that one.
I think there's a pretty common misperception that since you normally put your best outfielder in center, that if you can play center field, then moving to the corners is not a big adjustment. It is a huge adjustment. Ball comes up the bat completely differently. Pickoff play third base. Santana back in time. You might have been able to hear the Minnesota dugout screaming back. They saw it coming.
No, you're right, Rhino. That ball, when you're in right field, a right-hander and a left-hander, when the lefty hooks it and the righty slices it, it's moving down and towards the seats. Center field, it's more of a true ball. It's a true angle. It's coming at you. The ball was struck well. And until you get used to it after playing a few games there, it could cause some trouble with the routes you take. Just like we saw Dyson didn't exactly take a direct route on that. He had to wait and see what it was going to do.
This will tie the game. Mauer is out. That's his second RBI. Santana's bunt single turns into a run. 3-3 in the third. Well, Torrey Hunter at second base with one out to Brian Dozier. Dozier singled leading off the second inning and scored on the Kenny Vargas home run. At the moment, he is Minnesota's cleanup hitter. I remember when he came up, he was a shortstop, Dozier. Line drive hitter, not much power. Boy, has he changed that scouting report. 2 years ago, 18 home runs, which was a Minnesota record for a second baseman, and proved it wasn't a fluke, and hit 23 home runs last year. Sal didn't quite get the grip that he wanted on that ball, so no throw.
Torrey Hunter, he probably leads the league in smiles on the field. As Salvi went to pick him up, you know, Torrey's saying, why you want to pick on an old man? And a big old smile on his face. He leads the league in smiles, doesn't he? Happy guy. Thankful guy. Appreciates where he came from and hadn't forgotten it.
Good pitch down and away, and Dozier doing a good job of fouling it away.
I texted Torrey Hunter a couple times this winter saying, Torrey, the Royals are going to win a World Series, man. You need to come and be a part of this team. Hud said, I'm out of that. I'm out of it. It's in my agent's hands, Hud.
Pulled into the left field corner and foul. A reminder to you, we'll be at Kansas City coming up for the next homestand. A special piece of the postseason can be yours. Make sure you're at the ballpark on Saturday when the first 10,000 fans receive an American League Championship replica trophy courtesy of Pepsi. The gates will open at 4:30. That's a 6:10 game. And make sure you arrive early. A special piece of the Royals postseason run last year. Still 3-2 on Dozier. And then Billy Butler tomorrow will get this, his American League Championship ring. And will do so in front of his teammates. And if not for the Oakland A's and the Royals with that unforgettable comeback, would not have advanced the way that they did. It'll be a bittersweet for Willie's teammates as Dozier walks. Now 2 on, 1 out for Vargas, as in Kenny Vargas. And Vargas showed us why the Twins are so excited about his power potential with his line drive home run to left field in the second inning off the facing of the second deck.
Yeah, Vargas is going to be careful here.
Vargas can be like Bruce Chen was for many years for the Royals, where just when an offense thinks that they have him right where they want him, they start thinking big at the plate. Sometimes you're right where Vargas wants you.
He's staying soft away. Vargas is a switch hitting big poppy in the making. I see this guy's future is really bright.
Three and one.
He's very selective. We saw that last year. He's got an idea about the strike zone. He's got big time pop from both sides. Nothing too good. Take your chances with Plouffe.
There it is, 3 and 1, muscling up, and good pitch, great location.
It's just such a great pitch because of Vargas's delivery, his deception. Same arm speed as his fastball, and hitters can't pick that up.
That stayed up. Kane dives in left center field. Saving 1, if not 2 runs. And he did it right in front of his hero, Torrey Hunter, who's standing at second base.
He got a tremendous jump first step, and you know he didn't really have to lay out for that, but he wanted to be safe, and look, that ball hit up in the heel of his glove like that. And Vargas and the rest of the pitchers are used to that kind of action behind him.
Breaking ball to Plouffe. Moustakas, he dives, throws low. Hosmer, it's very rare that he doesn't dig one out of the dirt. And Hunter scores to give Minnesota the lead.
Yep, Torrey Hunter, the veteran, kept coming from second base, never stopped. Moustakas in a nice stop initially, got up a little short with the throw, like you said. Hosmer picks those in his sleep, and just didn't happen that particular time. Good try. Defense can't bail him out that time. They almost did.
As of right now, they're just scoring at an error 5. No RBI. Thought maybe it'd be a base hit and an error. But even though Moustakas had to leave his feet to glove it, the official scored, figuring that he had plenty of time to get back to his feet and make a good throw. One and one on Eduardo Escobar. Vargas got him on a fly ball to left in the second inning.
Salvador Perez You know, he's not just a guy who threatens to throw behind runners, because he could pick off a center fielder in center if he wasn't watching. These guys know it's for real. So when they get off that base, they're saying, look, if I get a big secondary lead, that's the lead after the pitch. I'm going to be careful, because these guys sneak in on each other. They've been playing together for several years now, including in the minor leagues. They know each other left and right. Hosmer, Moustakas, Escobar, they know each other in their sleep, what they do and how their tendencies. So they really are dangerous when it comes to sneaking behind base runners.
Escobar tried to barehand it. Would have been a tough play. And they're loaded up with 2 down.
Royals got themselves a fight today. Escobar, that ball's almost hit a little bit too hard to barehand, although I'm not going to argue with Escobar. He's made those plays before, but he just took his head up. Pulled his head up just a tad before he was able to pick it up, lost sight. And now Vargas is a hit away from some real trouble. Still early in this game. I figured it was going to be a high-scoring game today.
Outside to Suzuki. This is a mountain of runs for the Twins against Vargas. Vargas made 4 starts against Minnesota last year, and his ERA was under 1. 28 innings, 3 earned runs. Dyson in right field will make the play to end the inning. Minnesota gets 2, and they take the lead for the first time today. Parents, don't forget, with summer right around the corner, sign the kids up for Slugger's Blue Crew. Get the little ones all geared up for the upcoming baseball season, the upcoming summer. Kids receive a performance wear t-shirt, a Royals flat bill cap, Blue Crew sunglasses, 2 tickets to a Royals game, a free stadium tour, and more for just $25. Sign up right now at Royals.com/Blue Crew. The best deal in baseball for kids. Well, the Royals down by 1. And when Ned Yost had Gerard Dyson in the batting order last year, oftentimes would hit him 9th for innings like this. When he becomes a second leadoff man, try and get him on distract the pitcher with Escobar, Moustakas, Kane coming up. Cracked his bat, and Dozier will throw him out.
See how Tommy Milone can hold a lead. He's not easy to pick up. He's going to go with his off-speed pitches. The only time he'll challenge you really is going to be a pitch to a righty inside on your hands.
Escobar is 0 for 2 so far today. That's right where Suzuki wanted that pitch. It's 0-2.
2 changeups in a row.
Three pitches. Escobar is down on strikes, and that's Malone's first.
That's how he's going to hold the lead. Come right at him. 2 changeups away, down in an elevated fastball by design. He set Escobar up. Him and Suzuki did big time.
Curveball for a strike to Mike Moustakas. He is single to left, scored a run, and grounded out to second base. Plouffe shading his eyes from the sun. That's a quick inning for Tommy Milone. So his team comes up with 2 in the bottom of the 3rd inning to get him the lead. And he responds with a swift top of the 4th. PaneraBread.com. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Quality, reliability, and value. Search STIHL. Back comes Minnesota. Shane Robinson is 1 for 2. And for the 3rd straight inning, the Minnesota Twins have the leadoff man on.
You mentioned it. Whenever your team gets you 2 runs, pitcher's job the next inning, which was Tommy Malone's job, get him 1, 2, 3. Keep the momentum on your side. And that's exactly what he did. And look what's happened here. First hitter comes right out. First pitch, whack. They got action again. Momentum in baseball is just as big in any other sport as it is in this one. It's a good example here. We'll see Santana. He's a good bunter. May play some small ball, may not.
And he started that 2-run third inning with a bunt single. And now a swinging base hit to right. Robinson stops at second base. That's 8 hits for Minnesota in 3+ innings.
Boy, that's nice there. He looked like he knew that was coming. Robinson, the runner at second, he knows his scouting report. Dyson may not be a large physical guy, but he's got a good arm. He has the arm for right field. He wisely stayed at second.
Torrey Hunter hit a ground rule double in the third inning and scored one of the 2 runs. The Royals think that he may lay down a bunt as Hosmer is all the way to the grass on the right side.
That would keep. That's not a bad play here. Vargas induced 11 ground ball double plays last season, and that would be a rally killer right here.
Instead, a ground ball base hit. Robinson will be held at third, and the Minnesota Twins have the bases loaded with nobody out. Middle of the order coming up.
I don't know if we've seen a trip to the mound from Dave Island this early in a game for a starter all year long. This would be as good a time as any. Dave's going to try to settle him down. As Vargas is such a good strike thrower. Minnesota's coming out hacking his first pitches. They are finding holes.
Well, this is what we talked about last inning. Minnesota not used to having games like this against Vargas. 4 starts, 3-0. He went at least 7 innings in all 4 starts, and his ERA under 1. Joe Mauer with the bases loaded, nobody out. Into right field, Dyson slides, and he didn't get it. Trying for a force at second base. I think Dyson's first move was back. Mauer drives in his second of the game. The Twins lead 5-3 and still have the bases loaded, nobody out.
Twins putting some pressure on the Royals. Inside pitch, we've seen Mauer turn on that in this series. Dyson, you're right, he kind of hesitated, making his break in. Sometimes on a sinking liner, that's all it takes. Kept it in front of him. Good enough job to not let another run score, but Twins are coming at him. That's it. Ned's seen enough. Vargas is finding too much of the plate.
And you got Dozier coming up. He swung the bat well in this series. And Vargas, Kenny Vargas after him. And Vargas already has a home run today. So 3+ innings for Jason Vargas. And he departs with the Royals down by 2. Jason Frazier is a Chevy call to the bullpen. as good as the bullpen has been this year, it's the only bullpen that has not allowed an earned run this season. The starters have done their part. The bullpen, they haven't had to work much. And into the game of the 4th inning today.
Well, it's unfortunate for this entire team, the way that this pitching staff has been, to have to go to the bullpen this early. But this is why you have a guy like Jay Frazier to come in and get out of these jams. That's one of the things he did a great job at last year, is getting out of situations where he needed to strand the runners. But today, it just was not Jason Vargas' day. We're going to see pitches up and really getting a lot of part of the plate. Twins hitters really wasting no time on doing the damage against him. And he looked so good early. Only 9 pitches in that first inning, and coming off a nice game against the Angels in his first start. This one kind of stuck up on us.
Yeah, you're right. It looked like another Vargas start against Minnesota. He struck out Santana in the bottom of the first. 3 up, 3 down, but 2 runs in the second, 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth. And the Twins have had 12 base runners already. Bases loaded, nobody out to Brian Dozier. He is singled and walked today. 3 out of 5 in the past against Frazier.
Fastball, slider. Occasional split fingers to lefties.
There's the slider, 0-1.
This move, bringing the right-hander in here, you need to get a strikeout. If you have any chance of stranding all of these runners, you need to get a strikeout or a pop-up in the infield. A right-hander has a much better opportunity than Vargas.
Back with a fastball, and it's 0-2. Santana's at third base, Hunter's at second, and Maurer, who just drove in a run, is at first. Maurer's driven in 2 today. One and 2 on Dozier.
Still, even as early it is in this game, a little 6-4-3. I'm sure he'll give him the run for that.
Absolutely. Frazier's got him in a situation where he can do a lot with him here ahead in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. But Dozier's a really good high ball hitter. You got to be careful with him. He tried climbing the ladder on the last pitch, didn't chase it, but you got to stay down on this guy.
Sal saying, hey, I hung on to it, but it hit the chest protector first. Sal knows that Dana DeMuth is all over the rules.
Good set of hands, didn't he?
He quickly gloved that before it hit the ground, and then he tried to deke the umpire. You'll love that.
Pitch up and right to Moustakas. So good fortune for Frazier and the Royals there, as Dozier hit it hard, but right into the defense. 1 down.
Like I was saying, a pop up in the infield.
Another high ball, though. We've seen Dozier tommyhawk several base hits in this series on balls elevated. Got one he liked. I'm going to hit it at him. Now you put him in the lane.
Vargas, as a right-hand batter, hit a 2-run home run in the second and lined to center in the third. Lorenzo Cain made a diving play. And now back to Frazier. Out at the plate. Double play. Jason Frazier with the bases loaded, nobody out. Gets a line out and a 1-2-3 double play.
A 1 and a 2 and a 3.
Houdini.
Positing a nice 2-run shot in left field. And the next time up, he became a table setter and he got a base hit. 2 for 2, and he's leading off again this inning.
Royals down by 2, but feeling pretty good. That's the second time in the last 2 games that Minnesota's had the bases loaded, nobody out, and only got 1 run out of it. Kane, Hosmer, and Morales. Two balls, no strikes. And now 3-0. Malone has walked 1 and struck out 1. At the inside, Lorenzo jumping back, trying to con Dana DeMuth, the home plate umpire. Try and come back inside again. And that is ball 4. Second time that Malone has walked a hitter leading off an inning, and it's the third time that Kane's been on base.
Guys, we'll take a look at the play that Jason Frazier ended the inning with. Ground ball right back to him. And the key on this is just remain calm. Oftentimes guys get in too big of a hurry, overthrow the catcher, don't give him something to handle. Did a nice job with Salvador Perez. Easy 1-2-3 double play.
Yep. Sometimes a younger pitcher might get nervous, especially throwing off balance like he did.
Hosmer able to check his swing. Ball 1. Twice today Malone has gotten Hosmer to ground out to short.
Hud, you and I talking between innings about how this momentum could have shifted there with that double play to end that inning with only 1 run. So we'll see here.
Yeah, you know, the Royals have done a nice job this year so far, and in this series of having no outs and the bases loaded and getting out of jams. That little jam there, coming in, putting out the fire. The Royals are going at it again. They know they're in for a battle today. One
of the deepest left center fields in baseball. Hosmer flies out to Escobar, 1 down. You can play fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com with the official daily partner of Major League Baseball. Enter the promo code BROYAL for free entry. Kane at first with 1 out. Kendrys Morales has singled today, flied to deep left, just missed, hitting a home run off Malone in the 3rd inning. Kane took a step towards second base, but adjusted when he saw Malone going to first. Looks like we'll see Chris Young in the bottom of the 5th inning. So Frazier gets the Royals out of a mess in the bottom of the 4th, and now the Royals long reliever will get a clean inning in the bottom of the 5th. 2-0 on Morales.
Gotta like how 3rd time through they're being very selective, making Malone come up, making him throw a strike. I saw Suzuki set up inside. Anything in there, Malone better be very careful with the location, because this guy is dangerous.
Good changeup, 2-1.
See Malone here with this changeup, perfect location, great arm speed, really sells the pitch, and you can tell from the reaction in Kendrys Morales, he executed the pitch very well.
I try to double up with it.
Back with a fastball, 2-2.
Little out front trying to pull it. Let's see if he does what he did his first time up with 2 strikes. Morales shortened up his swing and got a nice lousy single to center.
Kane saw that one all the way, and Malone going to pay a little closer attention to him. Lorenzo stole second in the 3rd inning with a delayed steal, catching Malone, Suzuki, and the middle infield off guard. 3rd time on this trip the Royals have executed a delayed steal. Full count. See if Ned Yost trusts that Morales will make contact on 3-2, and will he send Lorenzo Kane? Lorenzo's looking over at first base coach Rusty Kuntz. Not running, and that was a good decision as Malone throws Morales another good changeup and strikes him out.
You tell from the grip it's going to be a changeup. Hides that from the hitter well and really just finishes that pitch off. Key to that change, we got to stay behind it on top of that ball to get that downward life and that downward action like Malone gets.
That'll get Kane to second base, and that gets the Royals right where they want to be. Salvador Perez at the plate with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position in the 3rd inning. Sal drove in Kane with a base hit, 2 outs, runner in scoring position. He is 5 out of 7 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
Yeah, that's on a ball that's 2-3 inches out of the strike zone up.
Hit hard to Plouffe, and it gets through Plouffe. No run will score, but the Royals are still breathing in the 5th inning.
Plouffe still had an opportunity to get Salvi at first base, but with 2 outs, and he was pretty deep at third base. I don't think he wanted to risk the throw.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm glad he didn't try, because I think he may have had a chance to get him.
Yeah, because, you know, Salvi, by the time he got out of the box, Plouffe, he had it. But, you know, that's smart. That's a deep cut at third base between the outfield grass in there, and that's a long throw, and if he throws it away, that's a run. I think that's a smart play.
Official score wanted to take a second look, and he just now rules an error on Plouffe.
Plouffe way back at third base, you never know. Paulo, all he's got to do is get a soft change up and drop it down the third base line. It's an easy RBI.
Out to Dozier. Dozier did not catch it on the fly, so it's a 4-3 scoring play. Royals lead 2 in the 5th inning against Malone. Minnesota leads 5-3. Season tickets in lower level sections like the dugout box or dugout plaza with a prorated 20, 40 or full season package. Make sure you are at Kauffman Stadium for this 2015 season. Become a season ticket member at Royals.com/season tickets or call 816-504-4040 option 2. Great day for an afternoon nap, as long as you stay out of the sun. Chevy called to the bullpen. Chris Young made his Royals debut on Sunday and pitched 2 scoreless innings. The 2014 American League Comeback Player of the Year, Chris Young.
Chris Young will receive that award on Saturday night at Kauffman Stadium.
12-9 last year with Seattle, making 29 starts. A couple of good starts against the Royals. Shallow right center field. Dyson sliding and making the play. Gerard Dyson in an unfamiliar position gives the Royals another good defensive play in the outfield today.
The more he plays out there, the more comfortable he'll get. There's no worries about Dyson playing right field. He's a little bit hesitant on a few plays so far today, but taking a little bit of time to get accustomed to right.
Eduardo Escobar playing left field is 1 for 2 with an infield single.
Monty had a chance to sit down with Mr. Young in the High V Royals live pregame show today.
What a nice man. A gentle giant. Outstanding basketball. Princeton in the Ivy League. All Ivy League basketball and baseball player.
Now Kane in center field. 2 down. So what do you need to do to become the American League Comeback Player of the Year? Well, Chris Young in 2011 had surgery for thoracic outlet, which that's when a rib is blocking a vein or an artery or nerve, right, affecting the pitching arm. So he had to come back from that. And then in spring training last year, he was in camp with the Washington Nationals, and they released him. Seattle Mariners picked him up, and he goes 12-9 with an ERA right around 3.5. He has had right shoulder surgery in his career. That was back in 2009. And he's not one of the guys that you would immediately think of when you talk about veterans in the game today that are the hardest to hit, in a literal sense, the hardest to get a base hit against.
Well, he's so deceptive, and at that height he automatically has a downhill angle, but he short arms the ball too, so it's hard for the hitters to pick it up. And he's a fly ball pitcher, so he makes his out pitches above the belt.
Yeah, he is an extreme fly ball pitcher, and a guy that throws downhill with that height, that 6'10" frame. You would think he'd be more of a ground ball pitcher. Take a look at him, nice and smooth, nice and easy. Almost looks like he's going to come out and overpower you, but he doesn't throw hard. He's a guy that just locates, but that apparently the last 8 or 10 feet before that ball approaches the hitting zone, it explodes.
Suzuki is out, and the extreme fly ball pitcher gets 3 fly ball outs in a 1-2-3 bottom of the 5th. Christian Colon will lead off our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant today is Amber Bradley from Baser. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Amber wins $500. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Amber wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Colon appearing in a game for the first. Boy, does that look good. Talk about a distraction, huh? I mean, that'll stop you in mid-sentence. Colon's playing for the first time this year and didn't look rusty at all when he took a walk in the second inning against Malone. He's also flied out to left field. I'm going to think about that piece of cake the rest of the day.
We'll get you one if you'd like.
Yeah. Christian Colon played a big role in that wild card victory over the A's. Here's the infield hit which scored Eric Hosmer. That tied the game. And then before that last pitch, Colon stealing second base. Salvador Perez at the plate. And the base hit we will never forget. A lot of people forget that it was Christian Colon who scored that run.
I love all the little things he does as a player. He's a leader. He's a guy that just seems to be a spark plug, finds a way to make things happen. Maybe not the most gifted as far as ability, but he just makes up for it for his instincts.
Malone is at 93 pitches, and the Minnesota bullpen is ready. Aaron Thompson, the lefty, Tim Stauffer, the righty. We saw those two on Monday. Mentioned earlier that Colon last year made his big league debut here, but got his first start later on that same road trip in Cleveland and had 3 extra base hits in his first major league start. That's going to be ruled a swing by Joe West.
Malone's got you in swing mode like he did Colon. Previous 3 pitches he swung at, and he was already committed. See what Gerard can do. Plouffe in at third base. Vargas even with the bag at first. They know he can bunt.
Curveball in for a strike.
You would have had to have started a lot of games against guys like Malone.
Oh, that's the only chance I got to play. I was a left-handed platoon guy. And it really was fun. I enjoyed the opportunity of studying these guys, and later in my career I got smart, believe that or not, against these guys because they all tried to get you with that changeup 2 or 3 inches off the plate. Try to get ahead of you with a fastball, then they tease you. So I just said forget all that. I'm bellying up to the dish and I'm looking for anything I can find out over the plate, mainly your soft stuff. Cutters in on my hands, I'm spitting on them. I don't even want them if they're strikes. I'm looking for the soft changeup out over. And when you face guys like this enough, you get to know that's their pattern. Their strength is not to try to overpower you. It's to try to finesse you to make outs.
Now Dice isn't on with 1 out. That's Malone's 3rd walk.
You know, the Tom Glavines, the
Go ahead, Hud.
Oh, how about it? Fans, you don't want to miss this, the 2nd annual Zuba Palooza Day on Friday, May 1st. This year's special ticket package will feature one of a kind pair of powder blue Royals themed Zuba pants and a game ticket. Packages start just at $25. Purchase today while supplies last at royals.com/special events.
And that read knocked Tommy Malone out of the game. 11 base runners in 5 1/3 innings, only 3 runs, and he departs with 1 on, 1 out in the 6th inning. Remember to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com, and you'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. Right-hander Tim Stauffer making his 3rd appearance. He pitched on Monday, and the Royals scored 2 runs against him in an inning and 2/3.
Might be what the Royals offense needs to see. A different change, a different arm. Stauffer not overpowering you. He'll go 90 to 92 with that fastball, 4 and 2 seamer. He's got a slider, curve, and a change. Now probably won't use all those. He has the ability to be a starter, but
back to Stauffer. Throws a strike to Santana, who leaps and throws at the same time, and that ball is going to end up in the camera well. So Dyson's out at second base, but Escobar will end up at second base on the throwing error by Santana.
Nice job by Gerard Dyson getting down there, putting a nice hard slide on there, trying to break up the double play, and he did exactly that. Got a man in scoring position for Moose. Molitor, he's going to go to the lefty right now. He's saying it's time for me to do some managing here. Not going to take any chances. He knows Moose is due to pull one.
So it's Aaron Thompson to face Moustakas when we come back. Stay connected to the Royals all season wherever you are with the MLB.TV Game of the Day. In-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. Browse the app's new features, including StatCast tracking videos and bilingual access. Aaron Thompson to face Mike Moustakas with 2 down.
It's nice, get me over breaking ball, strike 1. He's got a fastball 86 to 93 that he sinks and cuts. He's got a changeup for righties if he needs it.
One ball, 1 strike. Moustakas has Escobar at second base with 2 down. Thompson pitched 2/3 scoreless on Monday. He did not face Moustakas. 1-2.
love to see Moose get a pitch that he can pull and yank one out of here, but I'm going to believe that Thompson's going to stay away in this situation.
Yep, make him serve one to left like he's been doing so far all year.
Two and two. Breaking ball stayed up. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, that one looked like a mistake. Looks like to have that one back.
So one mistake leads to a happy fan. Wrong part of the seats, though, for Moose.
And now 3 and 2 with Kane on deck. Royals have stranded 7 in the first 5 innings. Little pop up to the left side. And look out. Plouffe and Santana nearly collided. Thompson comes on and gets Moustakas. Now the Royals have stranded 8 in 6 innings. Still 5-3 Minnesota.
With the Milwaukee Brewers. Ned remembers a young Paul Molitor saying, man, that guy could hit. He was unbelievable. He remembers one spring when Molitor got optioned down to the minors. One of the next days, Robin Yount got hurt on the DL. Molitor came back, never looked back, and was in the big leagues as a Hall of Famer. They were card-playing partners, guys. A lot of players before games play cards every day, and they were card-playing partners for the 4 years they were together in Milwaukee, usually going up against Jim Gantner and another Hall of Famer, soon-to-be Hall of Famer, Robin Yount.
Shane Robinson leading off against Chris Young. 1 ball, 1 strike. Paul Molitor with the Milwaukee Brewers from 1978 through 1992. Ned and Molitor got to the World Series together in 1982 against St. Louis, and then Molitor got his World Championship with the Blue Jays in '93. 3 years with Toronto, 3 years here in Minnesota to wrap up a playing career that spanned 21 seasons.
I know he was a very tough hitter to face. As a right-handed pitcher facing Paul Molitor, he could throw a pitch and it almost appeared to be in the catcher's glove, and he was so quick with his hands, so quick with that bat. Next thing you know, the ball's running on the right field line.
Monty, you did a nice job against him, though. What, 7 for 27?
It seemed like he wore me out, Rex.
That's pretty good, though. You got him out a lot. I remember in '84 when I was first time big leaguer with the Yankees, and I ran across the field, and Molly was running off the field, and he knew my name. When he said my name, I felt like I felt so good that a guy like him would know my name. You know, those guys, they played the game right back then.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were a tough team to beat. They played hard.
By the way, Molly wanted me to tell you. He said, "Tell Tom I said hello."
He's special. I don't know how he knew my name.
Classy ball player,
no question.
Danny Santana has 2 hits and a run scored. Minnesota had a 2-run third inning, which started with a Danny Santana bunt, and a play it looked like Mike Moustakas might make coming in from third, but Vargas tried to backhand it, and Santana with excellent speed, any kind of bobble with him running, no chance to get him.
Yeah, that play, that kind of turned the game right there. Now, Moose might have been talking to Vargas on that play, but you really have to let your voice be heard. On contact, you have to let the pitcher know right away. I got it, and that way the pitcher doesn't even think about getting it.
Orlando looking up into the sun, makes the play. 2 down. 5 up, 5 down against Chris Young. All outs in the air.
That usually would not be a real good recipe for success, but Chris Young has found a way that's just the way he pitches. He understands that he's going to not get those ground balls that a lot of pitchers are going to get or want to get, but successful nonetheless.
In the air again. Lorenzo Cain makes a play. 6 up, 6 down. All outs in the air against Chris Young. So we head to the 7th. It's still 5-3 Minnesota. Two-run home run in the first inning for a 2-0 lead. That's our sprint cut of the game. So Lorenzo driving in the runs in the first, but since then he has been leading off innings. in the third, led off with a single and scored. In the fifth, he led off with a walk. Now batting at .424 and tied with Salvador Perez for the team lead with 10 RBIs. Thompson gets him to pop it up to shallow right. Torrey Hunter will make the play. One out in the seventh. Last night the Royals did not homer against Minnesota. That snapped a streak of 7 games to begin the season with at least 1 home run, a team record. And now Kane makes it 8 of their first 9 games for a team that was last in the major leagues in home runs a year ago. Ball 1 to Hosmer. He is 0 for 3. Grounded out to short twice and flied out to left field. Two 2-0 against Aaron Thompson, who got the final out of the 6th inning.
Haas 2 for his last 16. Looks like he's pressing just a little. He's a little anxious getting out there.
Three 3-0. Kendrys Morales on deck.
Don't show any more carrot cake to Rhino, please. Ooh. That's chocolate there.
Three and one. Full count. And now Hosmer will walk, and we'll see if Paul Molitor wants Morales to bat right-handed or left-handed. He has Casey Fiend, a right-hander, warming up in his bullpen.
Hadn't made a move. Hosmer getting just his 2nd walk of the year. That's good. He needs a few more of those. Aaron Thompson does have a changeup he might incorporate here against Morales.
Fastball inside for ball 1. Small sample size this year, but balanced from both sides of the plate.
Well balanced. 2 different types of swings as well. We showed it to you back in Anaheim. Kurt Suzuki's going to keep calling for that changeup if he keeps swinging over it like that. That looked like it's breaking ball. Back door. Good pitch. He'll cut his fastball in on righties.
Ooh. He wanted that pitch. Suzuki wanted that pitch. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Morales didn't. Good spot.
Got to throw it inside the grid today. Ooh. Thompson got away with one there. Got it up to Kendrys. Caught by Hunter in right field. 2 down. And now Salvador Perez, who has 2 hits. He has driven in a run. He has been extremely clutch this year, and with that in mind, Paul Molitor will now bring on Casey Fiend to face him with Hosmer at first and 2 down in the 7th inning.
Molly doing a nice job managing here with the lead.
tied with Lorenzo Cain for the team lead. He is our most trusted player, brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda.
He's due for a breakout season. As much as he's learned offensively and how to and how not to, he's going to put it together this year. You watch.
Casey Fiend with Hosmer at first base, 2 down. Appeared in the game last night. Pitched a scoreless 8th in front of Glenn Perkins, who got the save. Strike to Sal.
Yep, 90 to 93. He's smooth. He sinks his fastball. He's got a slider and a change.
Pretty durable pitcher, Casey Fiend. Good numbers for Sal. 4 hits, 4 RBIs. Behind second base, Dozier ends the inning. Thompson and Fiend hit the Twins to the top of the 7th inning. Stretch time at Target Field. Minnesota still in front, 5-3. Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Look at downtown Minneapolis from the east bank of the Mississippi River. That pretty much sums up the weather we've had here for 4 days. The view from inside Target Field. Hard to believe this is the 6th year. It still feels somewhat brand new. Target Field, after all those years, Twins would have had a tough time drawing fans on a day like today, trying to get people to come inside when they want to be outside on a day like today. Joe Mauer has driven in 2 runs. Chris Young has pitched 2 scoreless innings, and all 6 of his outs have been in the air.
Joe Mauer, he took a rip. That was a pull swing. We've been seeing him pull that ball in this series. And last year, it seemed like everything, even inside pitches, he was trying to shoot to left field.
Very close, and it's been a tight zone today.
So he presented that nicely.
Out to Colon at second base. One away. First ball on the ground against Chris Young. Twins got all 5 of their runs against Vargas, who departed in the 4th inning. Jason Frazier came on. The bases loaded and nobody out, and got out of the inning, or did not allow any further damage. And then Young has been in there since the 5th. Good breaking ball to Brian Dozier.
Just seems like any Royals reliever that Ned summons, they all know what to do. Miss bats, get outs. Get the job done. Solid.
One and two on Dozier. So we're talking about 22 and 2/3 scoreless innings for the Royals bullpen to begin the year.
Extremely hard to do.
Out to Moustakas, gets a nice easy hop. 2 down. And as promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Let's look at Jason Frazier coming on with the bases loaded, nobody out in the 4th inning.
Shoot. A lot of guys that come in nervous and worried. Not this veteran. Try that above the belt fastball. Now he got fortunate there. He hit it at him. But right here, good sign of his veteran skills. Didn't panic, took his time, got out of the inning.
One and one on Kenny Vargas, as Vargas had hit into that double play. 1 for 3 today with an impressive home run to left field back in the 2nd inning. 2 and 1. Fair ball. Fan interference.
Yeah.
Good call. Boy, you don't see that happen very often. I was just going to say, now, the Twins are going to argue this. It is a common misconception that fan interference is an automatic 2 bases. And it was very clear to me, Hud, that if there was no fan interference, Gerard Dyson was right there to play it off the wall. And that's a pretty gutsy play by Joe West to say, nope, Vargas would have held at first base. It is the umpire's discretion as to how far the runners would have gone.
Yeah, you gotta love that. Joe West is just doing his job. Ball's laced. Dyson, look at it. He already stopped because he knew he was going to get the carom, but it kicked right to him. Look at him. Dyson's putting his hands up saying, wait, man, he wouldn't have went to second base. I would have nailed him.
And now popped up by Plouffe. 3 scoreless innings for Chris Young. And now 22 1/3 scoreless for the Royals bullpen.
a lot of American League action today, but over in the National League, Milwaukee and St. Louis underway. That American League game is Tampa-Toronto. Then we see Philadelphia, Washington, and Miami taking on the Mets. Our Mazda game break. Let's flash back to August 1st last year. The now retired Raul Ibanez going deep off of Sonny Gray. We show you that because tomorrow night we'll have the same pitching matchup as we did back on August 1st. That was in Oakland. Tomorrow night at Kauffman Stadium, Sonny Gray will be taking on Jeremy Guthrie. 3-game set with the Oakland A's. Ryan?
Should be a lot of fun. Billy Butler coming back with his white spikes on. Billy White Shoes Butler.
I saw some highlights that we showed earlier. He looked faster.
Changes defensively. Jordan Schaefer is now in center field. And that pushes Shane Robinson over to left. So Schaefer is in for Eduardo Escobar. He'll be batting 7th. Santana wants it, and he's got it. Paulo Orlando is 1 for 4. Speaking of Billy Butler, he's our T-Mobile game changer. And the Oakland A's, they wanted Billy Butler, signed him early, gave him a nice 3-year contract, and he has responded with a 10-game hitting streak for the A's and batting .359.
I don't believe that it's ever happened for the Oakland A's for a guy to start his Oakland A's career with that type of hitting streak. That's impressive.
The A's are 5-5. They are off today, waiting for the Royals to get back to KC.
Billy's somewhere in Kansas City today. You know he's enjoying himself.
0-2 on Christian Colon. He's 0 for 2 with a walk in his first game of the year.
You know, as well as the rest of the Oakland A's are. I mean, you would think that with all the big cities that you get to go to and you have off days, that Kansas City wouldn't be one of them. Should we used to beg for an off day in Kansas City.
2 down as Hunter makes a play in right field.
Plaza, most players all stay down at that Intercontinental Hotel there, and you could walk anywhere. You don't have to take a taxi.
Now 2 down to Gerard Dyson. Breaking ball for a strike from Fiend. Dyson dropped down a sac bunt in the 2nd inning. He is grounded to second and walked. Royals have had 4 base runners since the 3rd inning, but no hits. Only had base runners with walks and a man reaching on an error. Kelvin Herrera getting ready for the bottom of the 8th inning. Vargas to Fiend in time to get Dyson. The Royals still hitless since the 3rd, scoreless since the 3rd. Promo code BRoyal for free entry. Jordan Schaefer just into the game defensively in the top half of this inning. He will lead off, followed by Kurt Suzuki and Shane Robinson. And Chris Young, who was signed in spring training to be a long reliever, perfect for games like this. And going to try and go 4 innings for the Royals today. Kelvin Herrera is ready to go, but been a pretty easy go for Chris Young going back to the 5th inning. He retired the first 8, and he's retired 9 of 10 since coming on.
It's a perfect opportunity for Chris Young. And he hasn't disappointed one bit, only 1 hit. Throwing strikes, using the defense, and popping them up.
Schaefer started in center field last night and was 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Three and 2. Leadoff walk. Today's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery. Target Field in Minneapolis with producer Joe Lavero, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, Dave Holtzman, and the producer of Royals Live is Brian Shapiro. All ready to get back home. Dana DeMuth flinched, but the home plate umpire didn't call it a strike on Suzuki, who singled back in the 2nd inning. He is 1 for 3. That ball got through Salvador Perez and now headed to the dugout. Schaefer on the wild pitch. A runner at second base with nobody out.
Chris Young, fly ball pitcher, but he knows situations, and he's really trying to keep that ball down in the zone and hopefully he can get a double play, but that one just stayed under Salvi. Kicked into the dugout. Madsen now throwing in the Royals pen. It was Kelvin Herrera last half inning. And beyond Madsen in the background is Glenn Perkins getting ready for the top of the 9th inning. Perkins saved last night's game. There it is right there. 85 miles an hour, pretty much right down the middle of the plate. And hitters have just had an awful time for years trying to square up Chris Young. You know, of all the active major league pitchers who have thrown at least 1,000 innings, Clayton Kershaw has the lowest opponent's batting average. That doesn't surprise anybody. Do you know who's next on that list? Chris Young. That's just beautiful. Now Kershaw, he's going to come at you with fastball low mid 90s, right? 4 great pitches. Knee buckling curveball,
Kind of a little herky-jerky motion. Chris Young, man, he's just 6'10", comes right at you over the top. 85 to 87 with his fastball. Royals hitters were referring to his fastball as the invisiball. But every now and then the hitter sees the invisiball. And all those fly ball outs today, and Kurt Suzuki got underneath one and hits it into the seats to make it a 4-run game.
Oh well, it's bound to happen. The Royals bullpen finally gives up some runs. There's a little breaking ball. Suzuki with a nice stroke, kept his head down on it. Nice little uppercut swing. Looked like he was using a nice 7-iron.
Yeah, that was not the invisiball.
No, that was the hit ball.
First home run for Kurt Suzuki. Ryan Madson comes into a 7-3 game. Two-run game has become a 4-run game, and those are the first runs allowed by the Royals bullpen all season. Not until game number 9 does the Royals bullpen allow any runs, finishing the second best stretch in Major League history to begin the season as Ryan Madson comes on, appears in his 3rd game this year and his 2nd in this series.
Another impressive run.
Shane Robinson jumps on the first pitch, and that is down to the top of the fence, and it stays in. Robinson hesitating, going around second base, and goes back, and that was the right move. The Royals really played that well defensively. He would have been out. So a walk, a home run, and a double for Minnesota in the bottom of the 8th inning. That's Robinson's 2nd hit today.
That ball was elevated. Good short, quick swing. Stayed on top of it. One hopper hits the top of the wall. Paulo hits the cutoff man without a crow hop. That cuts down the time. And when Robinson saw that, he says, you know what? These guys do everything right on defense. I am not going to try it. And it's a good thing he'd have been out by 10 feet.
Danny Santana's had a good day. 2 hits and a run scored. Minnesota Twins have 13 hits today.
After that opening day shellacking the Twins took from the Royals that kind of embarrassed their sellout crowd here. Molly had a nice little meeting and had the guys out taking extra infield practice before the game, saying, guys, we got to tighten things up here. We're not this bad here with the way we're playing. And they've done that. They played an airtight game yesterday against the Royals. The Royals played a pretty good game. And then Paul Molitor showing some managing skills in this game here, this final game of the series, by mixing and matching in his bullpen. Good job keeping the highly potent Royals offense at bay.
Dyson and Kane out in right center field. Dyson makes the play, and that's out number 1. And for the Twins, they probably figured it was going to be another bad series for them against the Royals. The Royals have been so good against Minnesota the last 2 years. Remember last season the Royals were here in April and the Twins swept the Royals, just stunned them, but then the Royals went on to win the next 5 series. Torrey Hunter has a 2-hit game and a run scored. Moustakas' glove, and Hunter will have his 3rd hit of the day.
Well, that's considered a run saved. Although Moose will tell you he should have had it, or he would have liked to have gloved that. See if Mauer tries to pull another ball here, as he has almost every time up in this game.
94 over the outside from Madsen. Mauer has driven in 2 of the 7 runs. It's a season high 7 runs for the Minnesota Twins. One ball, 1 strike. Another note on the bullpen with the runs in this 8th inning. Royals bullpen started the year with 23 1/3 scoreless innings. Second longest since 1974, when they started keeping track of that statistic. And the only team that's gone longer than that is the San Diego Padres. In 2007, they went 29 scoreless innings to begin the year. So the second longest streak, scoreless streak, to begin a season since '74.
Impressive, and you know, as really tight as that Royals bullpen is, they're not going to be giving up a lot of runs, period. The whole year. I mean, they are really solid. They got polished guys at the back end of their pen. Now with the addition of Young being a long guy, and now Madsen coming in, and they've got a bunch of hard throwers, and Hochevar's still in AAA trying to get well. And you got to see him in spring training. Hochevar looked pretty good, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So their bullpen's stronger than they were last year, believe that or not.
Two and 2 on Mauer.
See if Madsen goes to that changeup that's really tough to hit. Fastball, slider, change. Changeup's the pitch that help him be so successful in his Philly days.
Sal keeps it in front of him, and now 3-2.
Bauer, tough out. You're hoping that he hits it at somebody. If it is a strike, he'll be putting it in play. 311 average with 32 home runs in his career in the 7th inning or later.
Hunter runs and hit into very shallow center field. Kane makes a play. Robinson tags, and the throw is just a little offline. So Joe Mauer is driven in 3. The Royals want to appeal down at third base. Third base umpire Mike Estabrook says that Robinson did not leave early. Minnesota adds to their season high with now 8 runs today.
Renzo Kane, long run in. Can he gather his feet, get up underneath him? Might have had a play if it was on the third base side of home. Joe Mauer appreciates that effort there to score that run on the sac fly.
Now Brian Dozier with the runner at first, 2 down. Eight runs, the most runs the Twins have scored this year. It is the most runs allowed by the Royals this year. Well back into the seats. 0-2 on Dozier. Twins had scored just 19 runs in their first 8 games. Now they have 8 today. They had only 3 home runs in their first 8 games, and they have 2 today. Dozier is down on strikes, and that's the innings. The Royals bullpen allows runs for the first time all season, and it'll be Brian Dunsing instead of Glenn Perkins for the top of the 9th. bottom of the 8th inning. Royals have the top of the order coming up in the 9th. And after the game, it's Boulevard Royals Live with Joel and Monty. Tommy Milone and Jason Vargas started it today. Milone went 5 1/3. Vargas went 3. The bullpens have been heavily involved. Glenn Perkins was getting ready for the 9th inning, but with Minnesota tacking on, it's Brian Dunsing to Escobar, Moustakas, and Kane. Escobar has an 8-game hitting streak on the line. 0 for 4 today. Lorenzo Cain had the other 8-game hitting streak, and Cain has 2 hits to stretch his streak to 9. Hunter back in right center field to make the play. Royals are hitless since the 3rd inning.
Gotta credit that Twins bullpen. They've done a nice job today, keeping them off the base and keeping them from getting back into this game at all. Dunsing 89 to 94 with a mile-an-hour cut fastball, slow curve. You got Escobar to swing at.
Ball 1 to Mike Moustakas. He singled back in the 1st inning. And then Lorenzo Cain hit a 2-run home run. The Royals right away led 2-0. Minnesota tied it in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Royals had a 3-2 lead going into the bottom of the 3rd, but Minnesota has scored 6 unanswered runs. Hit well into right center field. Off the wall, Mike Moustakas is into second base with a 1-out double. Multi-hit game for Moustakas. That's the Royals' first hit since the 3rd. It is his 2nd double of the year.
And depending on how you look at that, I'm going to call that a base hit to right field. Got him a pitch he liked. Didn't have enough juice to get it out of the yard, but hit up high on the wall. That's right center field. Is that considered right field to you?
Well, I thought the home run that he hit in Anaheim was right center field, but that particular statistic, whoever is compiling hits to different parts of the field, regarded that as center field. So it's not like he's not pulling the ball at all. One and one on Cain. Another good game on defense for Lorenzo. 2 hits today, on base 3 times, a home run, a stolen base, a couple of runs scored.
He's just fine in that 3-hole.
And it's got to be a little sweeter for him to do that with Torrey Hunter watching. That was his hero. Very similar players. I think he picked the right guy to emulate.
Sure did.
And Torrey's going to have to run this one down. 3 RBI day for Lorenzo Cain. Mike Moustakas scores his 2nd run. And now it's 8-4 as Cain takes the team lead with 11 RBIs.
Outside part of the plate. Nice little slice job. Chipped up his bat a little bit, but he gladly exchanged that broken bat in for a nice double. And that bat died a hero. He didn't think his partner or his hero, Torrey, was going to try to throw him out at second base. Lorenzo was kind of putting his afterburners on halfway there. Torrey tried to get him thrown out.
One more runner and it becomes a save situation again, and Perkins begins to throw in the Minnesota bullpen. That just missed inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. We mentioned very early in the game for both sides it has been a tight strike zone. That's hit well into center field. Kane will be waved home as the throw is wild. So it's 8-5. The tying run will be on deck, and there's only 1 out in the 9th inning.
Well, with the Royals' newfound power in their order, it makes them extremely dangerous in any part of the game. However, late in the game like this, you can't count them out. There's 1 out. Got 2 more outs they got to get. And they've got some pretty strong hitters coming up. Nice stroke on the breaking ball.
So Dunsing faces 4, gives up 3 hits, and now Perkins will try and close it out. Behind him, Salvador Perez. Perez represents the tying run. The Royals were down by 5. They scored 2 in the 9th inning. That forced Paul Molitor to bring his closer into the game, Glenn Perkins, who closed last night's 3-1 Minnesota victory.
Fastball slider.
Fastball at 93 is hit into the crowd. Morales singled back in the first inning, make him 1 for 4. He did not face Perkins last night. That ball goes all the way back out to Perkins, and if he fielded that cleanly right away, he might have had to play at second base. So Hosmer's at second base with 1 down.
He made Eric work for that one. A little kick save and a beauty. Haas, he took a peek, knew the ball was going back to Perkins, and kick it in gear.
1-2 on Morales. Good numbers. 4 hits, 2 home runs.
Perkins staying with the hard stuff on him. Something tells me he threw him a slider one time and sped his bat up, and he got him. So
there's the slider. Bare hands and throws in time. 2 down. Hosmer down to third, and that keeps the potential tying run on deck.
It's a good play by Perkins. He goes down and bare hands that ball and misses it. Get the tie and run at the plate, and a guy who can tie it up with one swing. That's a nice play by the veteran.
Grounded to Plouffe. And for the second straight game, Perkins gets the job done. And the Minnesota Twins, after playing a sloppy game on Monday, they really turned the series around and end up winning the series 2-1. And that puts an end to the Royals' streak of 5 straight winning series against the Twins. 8-5 Minnesota. We'll be right back.